Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And what we're going to make is a cake. Now it's a particular cake that people have written to me in the past and wanted me to do a large cake or party cake by using cake mix. Now, I do have already one on already in a yellow batter or golden batter. So if you're looking for a half sheet cake in the golden or yellow batter cake, I have one. And this will be my second one, which is Devil's Food chocolate that we're doing today. Now I want to first start off by telling you about my pan. Now the pan's measurement are 18 by 12 by 2, okay? I heavily greased it and floured it. If you don't want to do that, then feel free to use your parchment paper, okay? But this is a half a sheet. Now, if you don't like box mix cakes, please check out my channel, because a total now I have 29 half sheet cakes in all flavors. I mean chocolate, yellow batter, red velvet, two-tone cakes, marble, you name it. 29. Only 2 will be of the mix. I traditionally like to bake from scratch, so if you don't like this recipe, please check out my channel, because all the rest of them, the 27 of them, are all in and by scratch, okay? And they really are, I think, so good, really, all of them. So let's get started. Now, hopefully I'll go through the ingredients slowly and clearly enough that if you want to jot it down, that you can, because I no longer put the recipe below the video, and I'm sorry about that. Now, I am using my stand-up because this is going to be a lot of batter, and I'm not saying it can't be done with a hand mixer, but your best, if you do have a stand, use your stand mixer, okay? We're going to start off with 3 bags of cake mix. Now use whatever brand that you want. Again, the one I'm using today is Devil's Food, which is a little bit different than chocolate batter, because Devil's Food is a little bit richer in flavor and also darker in color. So I'm just going to take the 3 bags and put them in my mixing bowl here. Okay, all right. Now we're also going to be putting in 3 cups of water. Okay, and we're just going to put it all in. I'm not going to put it little at a time. We're going to just put everything in really quick and easy. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put 1.5 cups of oil. Now I'm not going to go into what type of oil, because well, I've kind of learned a lot of people, one likes this, one doesn't like this, and it's just much easier for me to tell you, use the oil of your choice. And again, it's 1.5 cups of oil. And I'm just going to put that all in. Okay. All right. The last thing that we're going to do is use and put our eggs in that have been at room temperature, and you will need 9 eggs. And now when I'm going to start to mix them, I'm going to try to only put maybe 1 or 2 at a time and see that they're combined, and then add the rest, and so on and so forth. Also, I'm going to warn you about the mixer, because it can sound quite loud on your end. So I'll give you a heads up when I'm turning it on, okay? So I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm going to start slowly adding these 9 eggs. Now, I almost forgot to raise my stand mixer. I'm gonna, again, continue to mix these eggs. So I'll give you a heads up on the sound. Okay, now generally what I do is, of course, I beat the batter for anywhere, I would say between 3 and 4 minutes at medium speed. I went ahead, raised up the speed, and because I want to move it along for the video, okay, and I want to make sure that it was blended. But you know, you're going to be blending it at a much lower speed than that, okay? So I'm just going to turn it on one more time, just for a few more seconds. Okay, and you want to make sure that, you know, everything is combined. So try not to skip on the time on mixing. I don't like to overbeat or overmix because I think it renders the cake, the sponge, to be tough or dense, so I try not to do that. But you do want to make sure that you spend enough time doing it as well. And if you're like me, I'm always seem to be in a hurry. I want to get things done and whatever, but sometimes, you know, you just have to kind of force yourself to slow down a little bit and spend the time needed, because you know baking these days is very expensive, and you just hate to waste the product and then waste your time too, that your results weren't good, and that you're disappointed in the finished product. And now I'm just making sure to get to that bottom of the bowl where it tends to stick with my large spatula here. Okay, and this particular batter is very silky, very smooth. You can smell the richness of the chocolate, and when it's baking in the oven, your whole kitchen will smell so good. Okay, so we're just going to bring over our pan. And again, I'm going to mention the size because a lot of people always write to me and ask, what was the size? 18 by 12 by 2, okay? And I'm going to just put all this batter in the pan, and then I'll just take the time and level it. And you'll want to get right into those corners as close as you can. It kind of pulls away sometimes, but go back and check them before it goes into the oven. So get into those corners. Okay, and again, I want to get the excess out of this bowl. Sometimes it doesn't look like much, but why throw it out, right? Okay, and I'm just going to use my knife here to take off the excess. Okay, and I think there's still a little bit left. Okay, very good. And then once again, I'm going to just level it out, checking my sides, seeing that it's evenly distributed. Okay. Okay, we'll put that aside. And then what I like to do is, let me see, I just don't want that to be a bump. I put it on a towel and then, tap it, 3, 4 times, whatever you think. It not only will help level it, but it'll take out any bubbles for you, okay? Now, you're gonna bake this cake at a temperature and preheat your oven at 350 degrees. Now, our oven's set up so differently. I have to tell you that a lot of times in baking these large cakes, as I do, I bake at 325. But it can be successfully done at 350, but again, watch them very closely. And all our ovens set up so differently, so you're gonna know best. But traditionally, I do stay on the lower side when making the larger cakes. Less in degrees, I think, it gives it ample time to cook all the way through, because it's, there's so many cups of batter in there. So, but like I said, you can do the 350, but I would watch it very, very close. Now, on the time frame, keeping in mind how your oven is, because only you know that, it can be anywhere from 29 minutes to even 35 minutes. So use your cake tester or your toothpick. Make sure, check to see that, when you pull it out, if it seems dry. You can always, again, I'm sure you know this, just to give it a tap on the ends, see if it's pulling away slightly or it bounces back. Check the center, that kind of thing. Once you do, then put it on a cooling rack for a good, maybe sometimes 10, 15, even 20 minutes I've left my cakes just to sit, just to settle from out of the oven, certainly before that I'm gonna ice them or frost them. Also, these cakes freeze beautifully, and in fact, the ones that I'm making today they're going to be given away at a fundraiser, on the 28th of February, and I wrap them very well and double wrap them, and they stay beautiful, because a lot of times when you're especially making the larger cakes for even occasions, whether it's wedding or bridal or baby showers or church socials, you got to bake ahead. You can't wait till the very last minute, maybe with your schedule. So they do freeze up nice. I generally don't keep them longer in the freezer than 2 months, but generally they're gone by then, because anything that I bake that I don't use as the family, I give it to my friends, but more importantly, I donate all my baking, so that if there's anyone that gives me a call, especially a friend at a church will call me, I'll say, I have this in my freezer, I have that, and you're welcome to have it. So I like to donate my baked goods. So I want to rinse my hands quickly because I was working with raw eggs, and I want to show you the finished product. We don't want any cross-contamination here, and especially in baking, you want everything to be quite sanitary. And here we are. We have a beautifully dark chocolate batter. You can see when I press on it, it pops right back. It's pulled away from the pan just ever so slightly, okay? The top too, it just springs back. Now, on leveling, a lot of people say their dome is too high. Well, it happens. So again, even this cake, I will be cutting off the top, and then I use the top, I put it in puddings or ice creams, or I freeze it for another time, but there's no waste involved when you start leveling it. Sometimes, the majority of the times, I don't even have to level cake. So, but that's what I do. It's up to you as well. But you can see how beautifully it comes out, springs back at the touch. So there you have it. You've got a box mix half sheet cake for large parties, gatherings, that kind of thing. And again, if you don't like this one, please check out my other 27 half sheet cakes in various flavors. Check them out. I'd really appreciate it. So I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. If you have a question or a comment, I'll do my best to answer in a timely fashion. And please solely watch me on YouTube, because that's the only place I put my videos on. So if you write to me or you have a question, I'm going to be able to answer you because it's on eBay. All right? So thank you again for watching Diane Lovetobake. I'd really appreciate a like, or even if you want to subscribe, I can't thank you enough. So stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.